Okay, I am officially recording. So I don't want to talk about, I want to talk about what, like, leading with your why instead of your what or your how. And Simon Sinek, if you don't have his book, Start With Why, I highly, highly suggest it. It's super awesome. It's a little dry because Simon Sinek is just a dry uh, person, I guess, but it's super cool. I like the book overall. Um, so the book's like what he talks about is the golden circle. So like the circle's like this, and on the outside is your what. And then a little circle inside is your how. And then there's a little teeny tiny circle at the core, and that's your why. So what he talks about is a lot of businesses forget to lead with their why. Instead, they lead with what they do or what they have to offer. Now, if you're on the income surge, then you heard Bonnie talk a little bit about this. If you're not in there, tomorrow's like the last day, so make sure that you go in there, you go through the content, because it's like there's gold in there, legitimately. So Bonnie talked about also leading with your why, and it really, really resonated with me. It really hit home because for me, for the first, I've been in my coaching business for 3 years, but the first couple years, I didn't do anything with this business. Like, I would sponsor a coach here and there. I mean, I did stuff. I would sponsor a coach here and there. I would sell Shakeology or a challenge pack, and that's what I was doing. I was leading with what I did. I was like, oh yeah, I've got Shakeology. Oh yeah, I do this challenge group thing. And I never explained to people why I was doing what I did. So my business didn't really go anywhere. I've legitimately, like, if I'm being honest, can tell you I've probably sponsored somewhere between 20 and 30 coaches since I started coaching, and should be like star diamonds by now, but wasn't leading from my heart and my why as to why I wanted this business to even grow. So it prevented me from having a lot of growth, and that's okay because it was a learning experience for me. In that time, I used it, for my discount on Shakeology. I used it, here and there for gas money and whatever came about, but I didn't lead with, why do I really want to do this? So, I think Ashley and I talked about it one day, and she's like, man, I can really see a shift in your posting. There's been a shift where you're like, wow, you're just like, I pour my heart out. I share vulnerably. And I don't want you to think that vulnerable means that you're weak and you let people see you cry. Rather, vulnerability is allowing, first of all, it's admitting that you've been wrong without saying, okay, being vulnerable is openly sharing the hard parts of our story. Saying that you've done things wrong and you're learning to change those, things like that. So I don't want people to think that like vulnerability equals weakness, because it doesn't. If you think it does, pick up Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. I'm like super book nerd. I have a whole shelf full of books, and David won't let me buy anymore because he's like, you better read what is on that bookshelf before you buy another book. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So there was a shift in my posting and in my conversations and in my business because I started leading with why I'm doing this. So I've always known that at some point I wanted to come home. I wanted to be home with my family. I wanted to, I want to be the person that gets Bella on and off the bus every day and not have to rely on a babysitter to do that. So with all that being said, I've always known that that was at the core of my being, but I've always said, hey, I'm a Beachbody coach because I want to bring, I want to come home and I want to be the one to put Bella on the bus. But what the difference is that I'm not a Beachbody coach because I want to do that. I want to do that, so I found Beachbody coaching. So it's like Microsoft. A lot of times they can say, hey, we have this really awesome new computer. It does da-da-da-da-da-da, and it can make your life so much easier so you can store your pictures. But then there's Apple, who says, hey, we want you to have your pictures at your fingertips and wants you to be able to access them no matter if your phone breaks or if you're on whatever device you're on. So we created iCloud. They led with why they did it. They want your life to be better, so they created something to do that. In our field, for me, this is, so I'm sharing from my heart, I'm sharing my experience, because that's all I can share with you guys at this point, and what I've learned to do differently. So for me, I'm going to try not to cry this time, because every time I talk about this, I cry. So 2 weeks ago, my why had a bit of a shift. It had a change for me. Bella started gymnastics, and I took her for her very first practice. And I was excited. She was excited. I was texting David about it during the day. And at some point, he stopped texting. His iPhone told me at 2:30, he checked a message for me. It said read. He read the message, but he never responded. I texted him one time saying I was going to pick up Bella from the sitter. I texted him one time saying I was getting her a snack and heading to gymnastics. I texted him saying, hey, if you want to come to gymnastics, this is where it's at. This is what time it's at. I hope that you'll see us there, or whatever. And then I texted him and said, babe, it's not like you to take so long to answer me. Are you okay? This was in about a span from 5 o'clock to like 6 o'clock. She started her class at 6:15. She goes out in the gym, and at 6:30, David is normally home from work, or not home, not here in our house, but his job is about an hour away, and they drive him to and from. So he's normally back in Roxborough at 6:30. And I called him exactly at 6:30, and I didn't get him. And my heart sank that day. Legitimately, my heart sank. So I texted him and said, babe, please let me know you're okay. I am so worried about you right now. It's not like you to not answer me. And I was at gymnastics crying, partially because he wasn't answering me and I was worried, and partially because Bella was at her first gymnastics practice, and it's like a bittersweet moment, like my baby's growing up. But I'm sitting there worried to death about David. So what he does at his job is he's a lineman. He works for a company called Moztec. They work on power lines. And I don't know if you've ever seen Life on the Line, but it's a really good, we watched it. It's a really good depiction of what his job is. And every day he goes out and he's messing with electricity. That's his job. He fixes power lines, and he makes sure that homes have power. I've been to some of the he's hooked up power to several subdivisions that are so nice in the Raleigh area. But the thing about that is they tell you in a lot of his training videos that he's watched at home, you need to come into your job with a clear mind, to be of sound mind, because if you're not thinking, that allows the domino effect to happen. You could forget your gloves that day. You could not wear your hard hat that day. Something could break and you could be unaware of it because your head's not in the right place. Like, they tell him all these things in his training. And that day at Bella's gymnastics practice, I worried that one of those small, minute things went wrong with his job and that he could have lost his life, because that is a very, very real possibility for his job. Like, he's out on the line and just one thing goes wrong, and that's it. That's his life. And that day I said, you know what? I'm building this for the wrong reasons. I need to be building this so he can come home from his job, so that can be a possibility for him, because I don't ever want to have to explain to my child that her dad isn't coming home because something happened while he was at work, when I have in my hand the ability to change that. That's my why. My why is to bring him home, because I shouldn't have to wonder if he's okay. I shouldn't have to wonder if he's still alive today at the end of the day. If he doesn't text me throughout the day, I get worried that something's wrong with him, that something happened, that his boss, his foreman, is going to show up at my door later tonight. So that's where I'm leading from. if you go to some of my posts, you'll see I start with, this is where my life is at. I am at a place where I'm trying to learn to love myself again. I am at a place where I want to bring my husband home because he deserves to not have to risk his life every day to provide for us. I'm at a place where I need to work on me just a little bit more. And I want to help somebody else do that in the process. So what I did, see, that was where I'm at, why I'm doing what I'm doing. So what I did was share why I do what I do and what I do to make that why a reality. I want David to come home because he's not risking his life anymore to provide for this family. So what do? I coach people to their health and fitness goals. What do? I run challenge groups every month so that people can learn healthy eating habits and get a program in Shakeology that's going to work for them. And I do that because I have a strong why. So it's really, a lot of coaches make the mistake that they're going to lead, we lead with, this is the product I offer. This is the challenge pack we got going on right now. Hey, the all access pack, you get everything you could ever want. And by the way, I'm doing this because I want to love myself a little bit more. No, stop that. That ends right here. So what we're going to start saying is, it's been a really long time since I loved myself, since I could look in the mirror and not cry about the way I looked, since I could just feel comfortable in the clothes that I already own. It's been a long time since I felt that way. So what I'm doing to change that is I started using this all access pass where I can do any workout I choose throughout the year and not have to buy anymore, or so that I can use one, start with a low impact program and graduate to higher impact programs to make sure that I hit my goals this year. Why you do it and then what you do. Because if you're constantly leading with what, I hate to say it, but if we're constantly leading with what, we're going to sound like those rap people. I don't like the rap people because all they ever do is post somebody else's results and stock photos, and we are not those people. Like, we're not giving people a quick fix. We legitimately change lives forever if we can help people. If we can keep in our mind that I'm not getting a Success Club point. I'm not just getting a sale for some extra cash. I am helping somebody make a life-changing decision when they invest in this with me. And it's something that I've really wanted to integrate into the core of our team, like to know why we do things and then understand that we are coaches because of our whys, not we have a why because we coach. I know that was really short, sweet, and simple because I didn't take any notes. And most of y'all know I'm a preacher at heart, like not a preacher, but like I like to preach what I'm thinking. So short, sweet, to the point. Does anybody, like, you guys can take yourself off mute. We can chat. We can talk about it, ask questions.
That's definitely a record.
I think it's super powerful. I think your why is super powerful, and it's the truth. We like to think that where people purchase things via a logical brain, but it's not. It's those nights where you're sitting there. It's the nights where they were sitting there watching the infomercial, like sick of being sick and watching those people have it better and like feeling the feels, and like that's what gets people to jump with you. So I think it was an excellent call. Thank you.
Thanks. Any questions, Erica, Ashley? Ashley, you always have something.
Yeah, girl, I've been a loss of words. I'm just trying to transition myself from getting crazy good results, losing the 65 pounds to, hey, I'm pregnant. And my emotions are beyond. Yeah, cool.
Actually, I think you've been doing a great job of sharing. I think
Oh my
you're
word.
doing fine.
Oh my word.
I was actually a month ago, I was like where you were kind of, like I found out I was pregnant and me and my husband were really excited and everything. And I was like, I don't know if I'm okay with this whole like gaining weight, you know what I mean? But like we ended up losing the baby and it sucked because I was like, dude, like I would have rather been like really, really fat than, have to go through losing the baby completely. And it sucks. It's been like a coping, trying to get through it because we've been planning on having another one for like, it's been 4 years since our last. So we've been trying for a while now, but it's just like the baby was in my tube and my tube ruptured, I guess that's the word for it. And so I have one less tube, and they said that it's a 15% chance of it happening again. But that's what pushed me into the whole Beachbody stuff. Like Nina was the first person who told me about it like 3 years ago, and I was at a totally different place then. I didn't really care. I was just like eating, and then I almost died when I had my daughter. And then I was like, I have to change something. There has to be a change to this. And like going through this year, people say that I've been skinnier than I was in high school, and I feel healthier. I feel like better. I feel more motivated to do stuff. I feel like more time to spend with my daughter. Like we actually like run around and I can actually keep up with her. Before I was like dying. And I like when we found out I was pregnant, I was like, I was excited because I had done all the healthy stuff to get where I was, and I was like excited about that pregnancy. But then like I didn't even, then when we lost the baby, I was like, this is not how I planned things to go at all. And now like we're playing the waiting game again because now since I had to have surgery, they were like, you have to wait like 5 months before you can try again. And it was just like, this sucks, but you know what? I'm going to keep pushing and trying to get my body to the point where I want it to be beforehand.
And the cool thing is about that is like you can use that as like the nice part about Beachbody and having the social media outlets we have is that we can choose the parts of our lives we use as our platform. We can choose the stories that we tell. And when people, I mean, it sounds kind of silly, and it sounded silly to me at first, but after I announced I was a coach, people started paying attention to what I post. And to this day, I have people coming to me that says, I've been following you for like 3 years. I follow everything you post. Like, there are people that have my posts set to their see first notifications, which, oh, look, we have 10 minutes, y'all, which baffle me. But at the same time, it's exciting because when you have people watching you, that's an exciting and great time to share why you do things. Because when they're watching, your story is going to impact somebody's life. Your story is going to touch the person who needs to hear it. So maybe my story is going to touch the wife of another lineman, because they know they know how it is. They know how it feels when your husband goes out and risks his life every day. Your story is going to touch another mom who had that same experience. And Ashley and I've talked about some of her experiences, and she's had a lot of people that come to her through, God has a way of putting those people in your life and on your social media, and they pay attention whether we think they do or not. And it's a blessing, and it really is an amazing thing to see. Amy came back. She's got something to say.
I do. I lost my headset. Oh my God. Wait. Okay. I was just gonna say I like the reference that oh, my dog's barking. I like the reference that I don't know who it was that used it in the income surge, but she said about if somebody told you had 4 golden bricks out in your yard, buried somewhere in your yard, wouldn't you be out there every day digging with a shovel far and wide and deep just to find those 4? Or another reference I like is like because this business isn't going to be for everybody, like when you're talking to everybody, but you will find the people that it's meant to find. There's 52 cards in a deck, but there's only 4 aces. You got to flip over all the cards to find
Coach
them.
Jimmy.
So, yeah.
That's who said it, yeah. And it really is just finding who's going to resonate with your story. The people that, like, the people that are meant to be in your business will find your business and be in it one way or another. Erica, I told you years ago, like, you're meant to be in my business. I know it. And here you are. You know what I mean? Like, the people that are meant to find your business will find it. The people that are meant to find you by some God-given act will find you. There are people that add me on Facebook and say, my friend liked your post, and so I added you. because my profile's set to public, so people, when Ashley likes my post, her friends see her like on my post. And that's on purpose. Like, an act of God will happen for the people that are supposed to be in your business. And it's our job to use this platform to share our why and to share our story so that it hits home with somebody, so that it hits somebody's heart, so they can say, you know what, you're doing it, I can do it, and I need to be part of what you do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for myself, we also lost a baby back in August, for us though. But just sharing that, and so many moms reached out. But all of last year, 2016, I really committed to myself, just sharing my journey. Like, sometimes I am at a loss of words, but I just either will just hop on live and do a dance, while I was doing Country Heat. So it's like people saw that, but just going program after program. And it's like, now being pregnant, obviously I feel like I can't do anything for the workout wise, but I have my results that I can share, Transformation Tuesday or different, just share the journey. And it's been awesome. A lot of people reached out even now, more so now than, I don't know. So I'm glad for that.
I think, like, sharing pregnant, like, I think maybe you can, like, look, I'm not saying, like, compare yourself to them, but Lindsay Stay and Brittany Leggett had really good, like, they shared their journey pregnant too, not just leading up to pregnancy, which I think you do a really good job of sharing your transformations and stuff. But maybe even just sharing more of the, like, this is how I maintain a fit pregnancy. Like, I know we've talked before and you're like, I knew nothing about nutrition before this with with Drake. I knew nothing about nutrition. I didn't care. And now you have Shakeology on your side. So it's a little different. Like, that's the one thing that you can depend on every day to make sure you're getting the nutrients that you and your baby need. Or I don't know if you're taking prenatals, but I know, like, Lindsay Stay, she replaced her prenatals with Shakeology. You can talk about things like that. Like, there's so much to talk about, I think, building while you're pregnant. And I think we just sometimes forget that that's an important, like, that's your niche right now. And I think that we forget that that's an important market still too.
Yeah, I mean, especially the pregnancy workouts, I have a lot of moms like, when I get pregnant, I'm going to come to you and all this and that. So I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's something new. So, yeah.
Okay, we have, like, less than 4 minutes left. I love you guys. I'm going to close out this call because we're going to run out of time. Otherwise, I would stay on here all night. And I have to go do a workout. It's like 8:30 at night, and I'm going to do a workout because I didn't get my lazy butt out of bed this morning. So
It's okay. It happens.
yeah. Good night. I will see you all later in group pages, whatever.
Bye.
Bye.